P is for
P is for
P is for
P is for
perseverance,
people,
potential,
positive,
persistence,
parents,
powerful,
passionate,
pride,
perceptions.
There are several dictionary definitions about the word profound, and when we think about people with PMLD, often there's an assumption that profound refers to severity, disability and illness.
For many people, I think it's a word that has negative connotations. It suggests limitations, it suggests levels of limitations that you can almost not overcome.
Many families experience discrimination because professionals see their sons and daughters lacking ability.
What they would think of is impenetrable, that it's somebody who doesn't understand, that somebody who doesn't remember, who doesn't have an emotional range. And I think that that's a real sadness, because it means that people with PMLD don't get the consideration that they might otherwise get, and it prevents them from achieving important things in their lives because people don't really understand, or they don't want to understand.
R is for
Recognise,
Remarkable,
respect,
ready,
react,
the fear around how am I going to communicate, how am I going to engage with someone, what will I do, what will I say. So I think putting a label on as in profound kind of can conjure up fear for people.
But let's see what the word means. It means wise.
Profound is a very special word. It offers a view of an individual or an experience that is more significant than any of those around it, and that experience or that individual has something that only they can offer.
The definition I prefer for profound actually is somebody that has great intensity. That is a really good definition for this group of people. The way that people with PMLD interact and communicate often is multifaceted, and I much prefer to think about that definition.
For me, the meaning of the word profound in that context is deep. And just because these things aren't evident, things like memory and understanding, they're still there. You just have to dig deep to find them.
O is for
open-minded,
Objective,
overcome,
Societies must understand the extent of the difficulties that people with PMLD face in everyday life.
Accessibility to buildings can be quite poor. New buildings are much better, but older buildings not accessible. There's a huge issue with toileting, accessibility to toileting and changing facilities. It really restricts where people can go.
which means either you go out for a couple hours or you have to get somebody to look after that child or adult, or the whole family misses out and nobody goes out, which isn't fair on anybody.
Sometimes we just have to find a toilet, and it's sad we have to change if it's not the right facilities, we have to change it on a cold, dirty floor, which for me is a horrendous challenge. And then there's other challenges, like Laura has pureed food, so we have to find a place that has a microwave so we can get her to eat her food.
People who are required to be peg fed, these people who go out with their families daily or at the weekends, they can be excluded from society by people being judgmental towards them, saying that they can't be fed around people in a restaurant who are eating normal food, which isn't the case, because at the end of the day they have rights the same as just as everybody else.
F is for freedom,
family,
flourish,
fairness,
focus,
feelings. Carers are more than just carers. We're individuals and we're a family. but we're also lawyers and advocates and doctors and therapists and communicators and campaigners and champions, and we're entertainers and educators, and we're also researchers. We do it because we really love the person that we care for, and that can make us very vulnerable.
Societies must try and ensure that with all this understanding, we could nurture people with PMLD so that they can realize their full potential and contribute to society in the way that they aspire to.
O is for
Outcome.
Outstanding.
Opportunity.
I have been really inspired by how people with PMLD have never given up and have found new and different ways to communicate. And in some ways, they're a lot more flexible than perhaps people with oral language, people like you and me who can use speech and sentences in order to communicate.
Kayla is just an amazing little girl. If she's got that strength and tenacity and, you know, the get up and go to fight these things, then I'm going to help her do that, and she inspires me to be the best that I can be.
Lauren has impacted every element of my life. I feel very, very lucky to be her sister. It's not always the easiest role to play, but her being happy transforms everything. Having Lauren in your life just makes you much more grateful for everything.
There's nothing like a good old story to express just how we feel. To see Abdi's smiley faces makes Athen just so real. The confidence has grown in each and every one, and Abdi likes to take their turn and join in a' the fun. Our stories are very creative, and the props we all decide, but nothing takes away the friendship, 'cause that is here to bide. Stories can be therapeutic and make us feel good inside, and 'cause we like to tell them, it fills us with great pride. They often make us hae a greet and bring tears of happiness too, and sometimes we can just be so damn silly you just dinna hae a clue. But for me my confidence has grown and satisfaction beyond compare, if it wasn't for all your service users and a' the things we share. So for each and every one of you who frequent Lilybank, I canna say much more than I've got you a' to thank.
So storytelling for me is a passion, you'll quite agree. I get so much for it, and it means the world to me.
U is for
unbiased,
understanding,
unique, unconditional.
It's my mission in life to act as Lauren's voice in everything that I do. Every aspect of my life is about acting for Lauren and talking in Lauren's voice.
I'm inspired by their families and carers that look after them. They are very dedicated people who have learned from an early stage to accept the disabilities that their children have. They have lived with them, and they have realized the joy from looking after somebody with PMLD, and realized the potential that people with PMLD have that the rest of us remain ignorant of.
I basically give my life up for Margaret because I want to do care as well, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Margaret, to me, she's quite good at making me happy. She gives me a lot back. Don't you?
I have learnt so much from the families of people with PMLD. They are the experts in their family members, and that has been really inspiring.
As an occupational therapy student, people with PMLD and their families and their carers are truly the best educators. They teach us about
how to actively listen, and also how to work as a team.
As a professional, I had nearly 20 years as a general practitioner, and in that time I had the privilege of looking after a whole host of people from a whole host of different backgrounds. The tenacity, the excitement around life, the ability to ensure that it didn't really matter what the obstacles were, where you would get the best for yourself or for your family member, will always be in my memory as something that was hugely inspirational.
Everyday special, working with the PMLD community. I don't think that we should be so self-absorbed in all the small things. We really get obsessed with the small things, material things, and actually they show you what's important.
N is for
nurture,
necessary,
new,
non-conformist,
negotiate, navigate.
People with PMLD are surviving much longer now with the support of medical interventions, but adult services and some children's services are not broadening out and involving and creating a more inclusiveness for these individuals. But they need them to be a place with meaningful activities and opportunities.
A great deal of work's already been done by PAMIS and other organisations in terms of promoting inclusion in society for people with PMLD. But the work that I think that still needs to be done is the provision of full-time education. When they leave school, they drop off an educational cliff edge. Lifelong learning is essential, and they're being deprived of something that they need so much more than anybody else does.
I think a massive pressure is money, and I am fully aware how what a big impact that has, but there has to be a point where something is done about it, because how many places are available for the number of children that are leaving at 18, 19? Where do they go?
Just Imagine What I Could Do by Lauren Graham. What do you want to be when you leave the school? Isn't that what most people ask as a rule? What they would, if they thought I might understand. I guess they must think, I don't have that much planned. So what shall I do with my life is the question. An artist, teacher, tax inspector, musician? Or would it be so very impertinent to suggest that I might get to be a student? Mum took me to college, but they sent me away. Why wouldn't they want someone like me to stay? I wanted to ask, but I don't have the right voice. It seems that there's no money, no will, and no choice.
D is for determination.
If we had a society that focused on the assets of people rather than on some of their limitations, I think we would be able to be far more inclusive in a whole host of ways.
Listen with all of your senses when you're trying to understand what they're trying to tell you or what they're feeling.
Not just verbal communication, but also like written communication and body language and other noises and movements people make are also just as important and just convey just as many messages.
And the secret to being able to communicate effectively with somebody with a profound learning disability is to use your imagination.
You know, anything's possible. For example, music, photography, video, arts and crafts. There are ways to kind of break down boundaries. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing.
I think it's important to know that, well, the saying, don't judge a book by its cover, because there are so many people with such big stories. It's just, you've got to look a little deeper than what most people would do. Because my sister, all I can say is I love her so much.
The work doesn't ever finish. It's always something that we can be doing. Everyone needs to change, not just companies or not just one person needs to change to make everything a bit better. It needs to be a difference made by everyone. There's small things that everybody can do if everyone works together collectively and comes together to make society more inclusive. I don't know, signing a petition to put a Changing Places toilet into a new building. It's something so little that can make such a huge difference, or donating to PAMIS. is just so important. You're learning how to be very human and how to care, really.
Don't walk away. Don't ignore them. Don't give up, because the effort is worth it.
I am profound. I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I am profound.
I'm
Together.
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 Together. Together. Together.
Together.
Together.
Together.
Together.
Together.
We have a profound
impact.